Almost every finance team is still using AI the old way, where you connect the tool straight to your raw data and just ask it questions. That seems like it's working fine until two people on the same team ask a specific question about revenue and get two different answers back. That happens because the AI is deciding what revenue means on its own. Like, does a deal count in the month it was signed or the month the cash came in? Nobody told it, so it picks. And it can pick differently the next time you ask. That's why you can never be completely sure the number it gave you is right. But there's a way to fix this for good, and we know because we've spent over 10 years building the data foundation that makes AI work properly for finance teams. In this video, I'll show you the new way to use AI for finance, where you set your definitions once, and the AI never has to guess, meaning you can ask any question about your numbers and trust the answer every single time. Let's get into it. This whole problem actually started long before AI arrived on the scene. Let's say two people on your team are pulling revenue for the same 3 months, and they came back with two different numbers. Both were pulled from the same systems on the same day by two people who did their job correctly. One of them counted a deal the month it was signed, and the other counted it in the month the cash came in. It happens because nobody ever wrote down what revenue means for the organization. The date is only one of the choices that shape that number, along with what you include in revenue, whether you take out refunds and discounts, and where you pull it from. So every report, every dashboard, and every question you type into AI figures out revenue on its own, straight off from your raw tables. The number ends up being whatever the person building the report decided at the time, and the next person may easily decide something slightly different. That leaves you with two numbers that are both defensible, but neither can be trusted, not fully. Now, this gets even worse the moment a number is based off two systems. Revenue lives in your ERP and headcount in your HRIS. So revenue per headcount means somebody needs to export both figures, match the departments manually, and then do it all over again next month. Same with DSO. How long your customers take to pay you, or with a balance as of a specific date. Those all get patched together in a side spreadsheet that only one person on the team knows how to update. So when you connect AI to all of this, you just get a faster version of the exact same problem. The AI pulls from these same raw tables and makes its own guess at what revenue means every time you ask. So you can ask the same question twice and get two different answers with no way to see how the tool got to either one. The way to stop the AI from guessing is to decide exactly what your numbers mean, with that definition located where every report and every AI tool has to read it before answering. That place is called a semantic layer. It's basically one complete list of your company's KPIs, like revenue, gross margin, and headcount, with the definition of each one recorded next to it. The best way to explain it is to build one. So let me use revenue per headcount because it's the kind of number that normally forces you into Excel. First, you set up the business concept you want to break your numbers down by, like region, department, or customer. In the system, that's called a dimension. So here I'm telling Datarails Finance OS that the department field in my financials and my department field in the payroll data are the same thing. They're in two separate systems and can even be named differently, so nothing else would connect them on its own. This preview shows me every department from both systems, and each one is tagged with where it came from. So I can see right away which department exists and in both systems. That's by design because Finance OS never links your tables for you, so nothing gets mismatched without you knowing. Once the departments are connected, you define the two metrics themselves. So a base metric comes from one table. So for revenue, I pick my financials table, the date field, and the value field. I'll add a filter if I only want part of that revenue. Then I do the same for headcount off the payroll table. From there, revenue per headcount becomes a calculated metric, meaning it's math on top of the metrics that we've already defined. So I pick revenue from the list of metrics I've already defined. I hit divide, and then I pick headcount. And that's the whole formula. What you end up with is a number that pulls from two different systems at once. There's no export, no side file, and nothing to match up again next month because you already told the system that a department in your financials is a department in your payroll data. And now anyone who asks for revenue per head count gets the same number, whether it's a person, an AI tool, or an agent, because there's only one definition of it to read. And real quick, if you want your numbers defined in one place like this, so your team and your AI stack are always working from the same definitions, I'll leave a link at the top of the description where you can book a demo with Datarails. Finance OS is the financial data foundation we built that pulls all your numbers into one place straight from over 600 systems, including everything you already use, like your ERP, your bank, and your payroll. Right, let's keep going. Now, a definition isn't confirmed until you tell it how to behave over time, and that's the next decision you set. So no report or AI model ever gets it wrong. When I define a metric, I also pick how it rolls up, and there are only 3 options. Revenue is a sum, average headcount is an average, and cash is end of period. And that last one, end of period, is where almost everybody has been burned before. Cash is a balance, so if you ask for Q3, you should get the closing balance at the end of September, if that's your financial year. You should never get July, August, and September added together because that number doesn't mean anything. Once cash is set to the end of the period, nobody can sum it up by accident, no matter who they are or what tool they ask it from. The same idea applies when you compare one period against another, and you define those once. A modifier like 1 year ago is relative, so it means go back a year from whatever period is on the screen. That way, you define year-over-year revenue growth one time, and then looking at March compares it to last March, looking at Q2 compares it to the previous Q2, and looking at the full year compares it to last year. No extra columns for last year, and nothing to rebuild when somebody asks for a different period. Those same time rules are also why revenue per head count still comes out right over a full quarter. A calculated metric doesn't get a roll-up of its own, so every metric inside the formula follows its own rule first. Ask for revenue per headcount for a quarter, and revenue sums across the 3 months, and headcount averages across those same 3 months. And only then does the division happen. So nobody has to go back and check whether the quarter got added up or averaged, and for anything measured in days, there's a variable that fills in the right number of days for you. So how long customers take to pay you is accounts receivable divided by revenue times the days in the period. That gives you 31 for January, 90 for Q1, and 365 for the year, without hard coding any of it or building a separate version per period. Once all of that is defined, the AI never has to figure out on its own what your numbers mean. When you ask a question, it uses the definitions you wrote instead of reading your raw tables. So I'm asking for the exact metric I just built, and the number comes back using the definition I set up, not one it came up with itself. Revenue means the same thing in every answer, and the same thing for every person who asks. And this works with the AI you already use, whether that's Datarails' own AI agents, Claude, or ChatGPT. Everything is connected through MCP, and this also frees up your AI tool to perform analysis, since it's reading a short list of metrics you already defined, instead of every row in every table. It comes back faster, and it stays on the number you asked about. And every metric has a screen like this that tells you exactly why someone is blocked from seeing it. Then there's the question a CFO always asks before signing off on a number. Where did it come from? The numbers you get back are already calculated and stored, so answers come back fast, but every one of them still connects to the original transaction. So I ask for Q3 revenue, I get $4.2 million. I click into it, and there are 1,240 invoices that add up to it in the original table. So you can put that number in a board deck and show exactly where it came from whenever anyone asks. What I just showed you was the entire setup, matching a department across 2 tables, picking a date field and a value field, and choosing whether a number is a sum or an end of period balance. You don't need to code, there is no modeling language to learn, and you're not waiting for an engineering ticket. That's worth emphasizing because semantic layers have a reputation for needing a data team. That's just not true anymore. The only thing that changes here is that you tell your system once in the same screens you already work in, and then you never have to explain it to another report or another AI tool again. Now, defining your metrics is the easy part, but those definitions work only if all of your numbers are already in one place to build them from. So if you want to see what that looks like with your own systems, click the first link in the description and book a demo. We'll walk you through how your own metrics would be defined and what it looks like when everyone on your team and the AI tools they use are pulling the same revenue number without having to check it first. So book that demo with Datarails by clicking the top link below this video. And if you want to learn everything else Claude can do for finance once it's working from your own definitions, check out this video next.